There's a tenderness I've known, knew it best when it was fading, trying to find my way back home. Don't you know, there's no escaping.
Because I wanted to be loved, I just wanted to get close to you. Because I wanted to be loved, I lost everything I knew.
Ever since I was a little kid, I can always remember being insecure about my weight. Never wanting to go to the beach. Being insecure with girls. Even still to this day. My girlfriend and I will go on trips that I refuse to just wear just a t-shirt because I'm embarrassed. I just want that to all be gone. I don't want to be embarrassed anymore. I don't want to have to worry about what I'm wearing. I want to be able to sit here without a shirt on and not feel embarrassed by it. If I can get to my goal weight as quickly as possible, I'll have a lot more of a chance of actually wanting to maintain it.
Don't touch. Do it your toys.
And that's where fasting comes in. I've been on the end of day one a bunch of times. I've never really had an issue when doing intermittent fasting, getting past the first day. The hardest part about day one is going to bed. Going to bed hungry. That's when it gets hard. But around this time of the day, my body's started to change. A lot of changes have started being made already. So I feel very awake. I don't feel tired by any means. I don't feel like a lack of energy. I had a bit of a dip in the middle of the day, but for the most part, I seem like I'm doing okay. Day number 2 to me is the make or break it day. If you can get past day number 2, you can get past the entire 2 weeks. At least that's what I'm aiming for, but day number 2 is a hard one. We just watched a documentary about sugar and about the effects it has on the human body and about how it's all been marketed towards kids and how if you get kids hooked onto sugar at a young age, they continue to want it as time goes on. They get addicted. And obviously a lot of people know that sugar is more addicting than cocaine. And it makes me think back, I was trying to think of how this all happened even to me, how I grew this addiction to food, because there's a lot of times that, I mean, if you look at my brother and sister, my brother is a bodybuilder. My father was a bodybuilder. My sister looks very, very lean. And I like to try and think back to like when I was born versus when my brother and sister was born, because my mom went through a big change when she used to be a lot bigger back when I was first born. And I don't think the food that we ate back then was very good. I don't think that, I mean, I can remember pictures and videos of me with ice cream or with like Twinkies and just really bad junk food. I remember going over to my grandparents' house all the time, and all they would ever have for breakfast would be, you know, Cinnamon Toast Crunch or some sort of really crappy cereal. And it just makes me think how much of somebody's weight has to do with them and how much of it has to do with their past and their parents. how much of a role do your parents have on your weight and your addiction to sugar? At what point does it change from them to them being your responsibility? I guess what I'm really trying to get out of this whole fasting is just to be able to hit the reset button. A lot of people talk about it, that when it happens, when you do the fasting, you kind of have a switch. Your body hits reset, and you no longer have a lot of the addictions that you had before related to sugar, related to certain foods. You don't crave them as much. You want to stay healthy, you want to eat that food, and you don't have that urge. And the refined sugar, stuff like pasta and bread and stuff like that they're hard to say no to. They're really hard to deny.
What do you want for dinner?
Pizza.
Pizza. I guess I'm making that?
My name's Hayden, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how intermittent fasting, well really a prolonged 8-day fast, turned me into a vegan. So just to give you a little bit of background on me, I never once thought that I would become a vegan. I never once really cared that much about animal rights. I was never the type who ever wanted to be vegetarian. In fact, I loved eating meat. If you go to Walmart, you get those 10 packs of chicken or the $10 packs of chicken. I would buy at least 5 or 10 of those, and I would eat chicken at nearly every single meal because I wanted to do a little bit of bodybuilding. But as time went on, I started to get a little bit more unhealthy. I realized that I wasn't able to maintain my weight very well. So I decided that I would try a ketogenic diet. After the ketogenic diet didn't really work out that well with me. In fact, I ended up being almost one of the biggest that I've ever been because I was mostly just eating fat and trying to maintain my body weight that way. I decided that I would do a fast. And this was a prolonged fast. I wanted to just get rid of the weight once and for all. I didn't want to have to deal with it anymore. So I did an 8-day water fast. As I was doing the water fast, I sat there and I started to think to myself, well, what am I going to eat after this? Because I didn't want to gain the weight back. And when you're on an 8-day water fast, you do start to lose some of your energy near the end. I started to watch documentaries on Netflix. I watched anything that had to do with healthy eating or food or anything like that. So I saw all the basic documentaries like Cowspiracy, that sugar film, some leading towards more of a ketogenic diet, some leading towards more of a vegan diet. But at the end of the day, I think every single diet out there kind of has the same idea. Eat more plants, eat less crap. So that's what I did. But I decided I'd get rid of the crap altogether. Some people don't consider meat to be crap, but when I realized that I didn't really need to eat it in order to maintain my health, maintain my body weight, and to actually gain muscle mass, I got rid of it altogether. So in a sense, you could say that fasting turned me vegan. I've now been vegan for around 6 months or so, and I managed to maintain my body weight. I managed to keep a little bit of my muscle mass. I lost a lot of it, I'll admit that, when I did my fast, and also I had stopped working out for a little while. So after the the fast and I stopped working out, I did lose a lot of my muscle mass. When I first went vegan, I think I was in a bit of a calorie deficit. I didn't really know how it was that I was going to get all my calories in the day. I didn't know what to eat. I always enjoyed cooking, but vegan meals were a little bit different for me. So I started off with just not eating very much. I was so scared to put on weight, mostly because of the fast, not so much because of the vegan thing, more because I just fasted. I'm like, the last thing I want to do is put on a bunch of weight. I didn't really know what the hell to eat when I first went vegan. I was actually super confused. I was so worried about putting on weight. I didn't want to eat. I wasn't sure if I should go more ketogenic. Ketogenic as in have a low carb diet. And that's kind of what I started out with, was a really low carbohydrate diet. At least I tried to. Anything that I ate, it was pretty much smothered in coconut oil. It was fried. I just wanted to make it so I had a lot of fat in my diet, and so that way I stayed full for longer because I was doing intermittent fasting, and I still do intermittent fasting. But as I went on, I kind of realized that it wasn't really working out. I was actually gaining the weight back, and I knew I was going to gain some of the weight back because obviously you don't just eat for 8 days and all of a sudden all the weight stays off. You gain some back. But I kind of ended up changing my diet a little bit more. I ended up becoming more and more comfortable with carbs themselves, realizing that carbs were what was going to help me start to be able to actually build some muscle. I realized that without carbs, I wasn't really having much energy, and I was still able to maintain my intermittent fasting with a pretty high carb diet. Right now, for those of you who care about macros, my macros are like 75% carbs. The other bits are coming almost 50-50 from fat and from protein. The longer that I stayed vegan, the more that I realized that I didn't really miss meat that much. Actually, I didn't miss it at all. Because I enjoy cooking, it ended up being really beneficial for me because I got to experiment so much with all these different vegetables and different flavors. Before, all it was always just rice and chicken and maybe some potatoes. And that was just about it. I get the odd broccoli or something in there once in a while. But then when I became vegan, my meals just exploded. I eat so much food now. Because most vegan food isn't very calorie dense, I'm able to eat a lot of it, and I really enjoy it. So I guess to kind of sum up this whole video is, the reason that I went vegan had nothing to do with animal rights. It had to do with strictly my own health and wanting to be able to maintain a healthy body weight. Since then, it's turned from that to me actually giving a shit about animals, realizing that we don't need to actually kill them in order to maintain a healthy body weight and able to get all the nutrients that we get in a daily basis. I'm able to maintain muscle mass. I'm able to keep myself healthy while not eating any meat. And finally, it kind of developed myself a love of food. Now I want to create this YouTube channel that I'm doing right now in order to show people that you can have everything that you thought you couldn't have on a vegan diet, But you can have everything that you used to have on a meat-based diet on a vegan diet. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you got any questions for me, or if you'd like to see like a what I eat in a day style video, then please comment that down below. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.